Hey everybody, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here for this fantastic event that we're having today. As all of you are trickling in and joining, I just want to give people a second to get settled. I am here in beautiful London today. If you know me, I'm usually based in Copenhagen, but really happy to be here for this very cool event. Jump into the comments and let us know. As we're all getting in here, where are you joining from? We'd love to hear where in the world you are. I have a feeling we got a lot of people from a lot of fun different places. But as you're all getting settled, I just want to go ahead and kick this off and talk about our topic for today, which is the future of training videos, 2025 and beyond. And so if you don't know me, I'm excited to introduce myself. My name is Elly Henriksen. I'm an enablement strategist here at Synthesia. My job is to make sure people feel really confident using Synthesia to make great videos, but I'm actually a certified e-learning instructional designer, and I've been working in this field for a little over 8 years now. I've made everything from heavy-duty instructional content for technical training, leadership onboarding, different orientation pieces, you name it, I've done a little bit of it. I've even done some LMS administration. So if you're a learning designer, I've probably been in your shoes at some point. But now here at Synthesia, I want to make sure that you're making great videos, and I'm part of the Academy team making sure we bring you that great content. But before I tell you more about myself, I want to make sure that we hear a little bit about you. So I'm curious to hear, what kind of learning content are you making? Tell us in the comments, who are you training? What are the topics that you're discussing? What are the formats you're using to educate your learners these days? Just help us get a sense of who's in the room, what it is you're creating. I have a feeling that all of you have a lot in common on what you've done and what you're trying to do. So let's go ahead and tell each other a little bit about each other. And in that vein, I'm going to go ahead and tell you a story about my career. So this one's a little bit funny because this is a goofy picture, and that's me. In 2020, I was an instructional designer at the University of Washington in Seattle. My job there was to make technical training so people could use the different tools that we had in their work. But also in 2020, we had a little bit of a pandemic hit. At the time, I was working in doing instructor-led trainings, live courses where people were coming in and taking my classes in a classroom. But suddenly, overnight, we had to take everybody offline, send our students home, send our faculty home, and find a new way to teach. And so I had to find a solution for my learners very, very quickly. What we decided to do was to order a microphone, get some editing software, and start making some technical explainer videos to help my learners where they were. If you've ever had to do this without a huge budget, if you've ever had to make technical explainer videos or record your own voice, you know that if the room isn't soundproof, you're going to get kind of a subpar result. Thus, my blanket. And I spent months toiling away underneath that blanket because these are the things that we do for our learners. But I made this choice based on what I was able to do with the resources I had and what I thought would be most useful and impactful for my learners. And obviously, there are definitely some special factors that were affecting this choice in particular, but I tend to find that these two things are what most learning designers are juggling when they're worrying about their content. Really what we're thinking about is the impact versus the efficiency. So what do I mean when I say impact? Really, this is about thinking about what your learner will take away from the moment that you've designed for them. Will they remember what they need to know? Will they be able to apply it on the job in their moment of need? There are so many options to consider when you think about what kind of content you're going to have, but really what we want to be thinking about is what's the most impactful. In these options, we might choose to make something kind of low impact, like a PDF. PDF is great as a simple explainer, but it's not exactly going to lead to mastery. We could also do something like record a Zoom call or a Teams call that we're already having. This is great because the people who weren't able to make it are able to join up and get that information later, but you kind of miss that magical moment of being in the room. And these don't tend to be super, super effective for learning. We can go further and we can start to make things like our DIY screen recordings. Here we can get into the nitty-gritty, really show them what it is that they should be seeing, walk them through the process step by step, and break it up into chunks that they can kind of take at their own pace. So this can be really, really good, but there's more we can add into it. Sometimes we use things like animated videos with characters. This is where we start adding in some narrative structure, telling some stories, and really getting at the why they need to master this piece. But when it comes to impactful content, the thing that kind of seems to be the big boss is making immersive, interactive e-learning content. If you've ever done this before, you know it's a heavy lift, but the payoff is really strong. You get to put your learners in scenarios that they're going to face in real life. You make them the driver. You allow them to kind of tinker and play and fail at the things you're asking them to do in reality in a very safe place. So these are super impactful experiences. So if we know that this is the most impactful way to learn, why aren't we all making immersive e-learning content all of the time? It's because there's another factor that we have to be considering when we make our content, which is the idea of efficiency, right? This is about the time that you have, the resources that you have as the creator. And this tends to end up being at odds with the impact. In 2021, Robin DeFelice started asking the question, how long does it take to develop training? She did interviews across the industry, polled people, and asked how long it was taking them to make the content that they were creating. And what she found wouldn't surprise anybody who's worked in this field. It tended to be that the more effective, more impactful content just took a lot more energy and a lot more resources. It's not something that we don't know in this space, but it still means that every time we choose to make content, we're faced with a tough choice. What's more valuable? My time as the creator and my resources, or the impact on my learners and my business? It's not an easy one to choose between, but it's really, really lovely to be alive right now because this isn't the case anymore. We now have the option to make things like AI video, which kind of allows me to escape this dichotomy, and it also allows me to leave my blanket at home. So it's a really beautiful melding of efficiency and impact because AI video makes the generation process so easy that it almost feels like cheating, and I can take the time and the energy I save on that process and put it back into making my content more impactful. And this is a better use of my expertise than doing 100 takes of a voiceover under a blanket for a single video, right? And this is literally why I work at Synthesia now. I don't have to go under that blanket, but I can also make sure that I can help people bring the magic of video to communication. And you can use it across all of your different communication platforms. But the thing that really excites me most is when you bring the magic of video to learning and development. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, is how does this tool and how does AI allow you to make more efficient but also more impactful content with the resources that you have. But if you're not familiar with us, I just want to take a second and pause and tell you a little bit about Synthesia. Really what we are is the world's premier AI video creation and communication platform. We help businesses of all sizes all over the world to create video communication instead of using boring text or text-filled slides to communicate with their viewers. And we do all of this in a single AI platform. First and foremost, we help you to create the content that you're making. We help you use our AI models, which are cutting edge, absolutely the leaders in the industry, along with our AI avatars and AI voices in an intuitive and easy to use video editor. So it's a very simple and intuitive process. On top of that, we also help you to collaborate and manage that content. So you're able to put this out with the help of your team. You can invite colleagues, you can make sure that you are reviewing and promoting information within the ecosystem, and you can also make sure that they can see what it is that you're doing as you work. And finally, we can go ahead and we can share and optimize this content. And this is really about using our video player. This allows your viewers to have control over their experience and also allows us as the creators to see how they're interacting with your content and able to digest what it is that they're seeing so we can make informed and more impactful choices about what we change in the content that we serve to them. And so this is really what I want to be talking about when we talk about this efficiency versus impact piece. And so let's go ahead and dive into this dichotomy and how AI is changing all of it. So first and foremost, we want to be talking about how we create training videos efficiently. This is about how you as the creator work through the creation process. And first and foremost, the thing that's exciting is you can turn text into video. We can also simplify your screen recording process. And then finally, we can design and brand videos with a single click. And I know this sounds ridiculous and absolutely impossible, but I promise you it's true, and I'm going to show you all about it right now. The first one is honestly the thing that I have been most excited about with this company, and it's massively impactful. Basically what it means is that you can take content that you've already got, basic text formatted documents, and turn them into something more engaging like a video. Getting started is always the hardest part, and we don't have to face the tyranny of the blank page anymore. Companies like Zoom have saved 90% of their video production time using the AI assistant. And what this does is it allows you to take these documents you may already have. We all have made tons of text-based learning. You can use our AI video assistant to then create a video that is referring to the content that's in there, to the images that are in there, and taking this and giving you a whole new format in just a matter of seconds. And so this is a really, really amazing technology, but we all know that AI isn't perfect, right? What if it makes a choice that you don't agree with? It picks a word that isn't what you would say? This is where things get super magical. It's the fact that our videos are editable just like you would any sort of text document. You can jump in and create this content in real time. It's as easy as editing a Google Doc, and this feature has cut down Xerox's cost for creation per video by 50%, because they don't have to worry about reshooting content if there's a single missed word or if the actor on screen doesn't work for the content they're creating. You can go in and edit this as easily as you would a Google Doc. But let me show you what that looks like. So here I have a video that was actually made via our AI assistant. And what I want to do is I want to edit a couple pieces of it. If I come in and I click edit, what you're going to see is our scenes over here and all of the different elements that make up my video. If I decide that I want a different facilitator on screen, all I need to do is select her and choose somebody who might be better suited for what it is that we're making. So let's go ahead and use today Elly. I think that he's a great match, and we can change him so he appears throughout our video. We also have the option here to go ahead and change anything else we want in our whole video. Here I might use a different word. Strong isn't quite on brand, so I might say something like secure. Extremely easy for me to come in and change these. I go and hit generate, and this video will be out in the world within minutes. You can see what the final product looks like here.
Welcome to our simple guide on creating secure passwords. Let's dive into the essentials of password management and
So you can see how quick and easy it is to create this content and get it out into the world. It's, again, as simple as editing a Word doc, but you don't have to take it from us.
You go out, you shoot something with an actor, you've got film crew, you've got lights, you've got hair and makeup, sets and locations. You could shoot it all, get it back in the edit suite and go, that's not right. And then you have to do it all again. And that's happened. Every time I have a conversation with you guys, I can see the technology like maturing and getting better each time. This stuff it's kind of quite game changing for me.
So Richard took the words right out of my mouth. I really tend to think of this as very game changing. But what about the things that you can't generate from a PDF? What about something like a screen recording, my old nemesis? Do I have to get my blanket out again, even though I'm using something as fancy as AI? Not anymore. I've said it before that I think that screen recording is really, really lovely, and I've made my fair share of them because screen recordings are so useful, but they're also a huge pain to create. If you mess up, you are going to have to start again and again and again. I spent a lot of minutes under that blanket. On top of that, you are the main character. You have to be camera ready. You have to be ready to record. It can be really daunting if this isn't your background. You're not professionally an actor, but now you're going to have to be the star on screen. And then finally, these age like milk. I think there's a cosmic rule in the universe that if you make any sort of screen recording, within a week, what's going to happen is one of the interfaces you recorded will change, one of the terms that you used in your script will get updated, and immediately this video is going to be out of alignment with your company. And you're going to have to go back and start from scratch under that blanket. But not anymore. We have a simple and beautifully elegant screen recording tool now that allows you to easily capture and edit screen recording so your learners can see exactly what it is that you need them to see without taking a whole bunch of your time to do it. You simply go ahead and record your screen and speak to what it is that you're doing. We'll go ahead and transcribe that without any pauses or filler words that you may have inserted. And then you can use your personal avatar or a stock avatar to be the facilitator. You don't even have to comb your hair. It sounds like it's ridiculously easy, and it honestly is. And the best part is, if something does change, if one of those interfaces gets to be different, you can go in and you can edit it and update it effortlessly. Let's see what this could look like.
Let me show you how to book your holiday after you log into our HR system. Click on Request Time Off. Next, select the type of request and the date that you want to take off. Click Submit, and that's it. Bon voyage.
And so far, people really, really like it. In just the first 20 days, we have over 7,000 users who are all raving about this. This has been very exciting because they've said that it's a game changer. They've said they've made content in seconds, and some of them have even said that it's just perfect. And I tend to agree. But just because we can make content really, really easily doesn't mean we've tackled maybe the hardest part of the creation process, which is making it look good. And this is where our branding comes in. Using our brand kits, you're able to brand videos consistently with a single click. L&D professionals spend about 15 to 20 hours a week on design tasks. And this is great, except this isn't really our traditional background. It's not what we're great at, and sometimes it can show. Instead of having to rely on stock images and clip art, what you can do is use our brand kits to immediately and effortlessly apply the colors, the logos, the fonts, all of the different elements that make up your brand. It can even bring in avatars that make sense for your viewer. So no more spending hours trying to make something that you know is correct look right. Instead, you can rely on brand kits to get there much, much more quickly. And instead, take all the time you've gotten back and dedicate it to making sure that your video is actually as impactful as you want it to be. And so speaking of impactful, this is the other piece of the dichotomy that we need to be thinking about. And Synthesia allows you to do three things that really have are massive game changers for impact. So first and foremost, we can use real presenters. We can put human faces into our content. We can also personalize our videos down to the individual viewer to make it a more engaging and intimate experience for them. And then finally, we can measure our impact and prove both to our learners and our stakeholders that this is having the effect that we want it to. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. First and foremost, I say this all the time, humans respond to human faces. It's simple brain science. In training videos, learning outcomes were improved by 60% when we had a human in our content. Unfortunately, if you've been around for a while, we've been a little limited in what was available to us. If you wanted to be the actor, you could have a person on screen. Otherwise, we had to rely on cartoon characters. If you've been around, you've probably seen these before. They've served us really well and they've done a great job, but they've never been great at handling more intensive content. And so now we can do a whole lot better for our learners. Instead, what we can do is we can use real people and dialogues. Our AI avatars are spectacular facilitators and narrators. They rarely flub their lines, they can emote, and they exist in real-world settings that make sense to your learner. Also, they can respectfully tackle really difficult and sensitive topics where an animated character never really made sense. But what's even better is they can talk to each other. And so now we're able to dialogue with our avatars, which allows us to model difficult conversations for our learners and really show them how they should or potentially shouldn't tackle a situation. They're really, really versatile, and they can even handle some of the toughest, most intensive content.
But now that we can put two people on, especially since we're doing like heavy technical stuff on some of it, it's just when you have one guy just talking and talking and talking, because the voices are good, but they also become monotone over time. So the fact that we can now break up and have a woman and a guy like with different pitch kind of interrupt has kind of taken that last step out of it. So yeah, great update, by the way.
So as Mikkel says, this allows us to use avatars to break down intensive content that is too much for a single avatar across different characters and really make it digestible for our learners, meaning they're going to take away more from that moment. But how can we take this even further and make it even more impactful? Well, we can personalize our training. And this really means that we don't have to make one-size-fits-all content anymore. We can instead use things like translation and localization to speak to them in the language they're comfortable in. We have 140 languages available for you to serve to your learner so they can really learn the way that they know best how to learn. On top of that, we can speak directly to individual learners by using variables to insert their names, information that's most relevant to them, so you're not serving boilerplate content anymore. And also, you can do this using your own personal avatar, so they can see a familiar face, a person that they're used to learning from, somebody that they know, really bringing this into the realm of being a very intimate experience. Teleperformance has had great success with this. They've actually translated their content into 40 different languages for 380,000 employees all over the world. Those people are super grateful that they don't have to learn in a second language anymore and can instead consume this content in a way that's way more intuitive for them. Let's see what something that's highly personalized could look like.
Welcome to the event, Josh, Learning and Development Manager from PlayStation.
Hey Max, Training Lead from YouTube. Welcome to the event.
Welcome to the event, Kenneth, Learning Technologies Manager from KPMG US.
Hey there, Daniel from Shuko Team.
Hello, Al. Senior Instructional Designer from Colgate-Palmolive.
Hey, Agnes, Instructional Designer Lead from Wise.
Nice to see you, John from Virgin Media O2.
We used this video to welcome people to a recent in-person event. There are so many different ways that you can use this personalization to really make people feel welcome and seen in your content. So we can see how this content is more impactful to our learner, but is it really worth it if we can't measure it and show it to our stakeholders? This is something we've been working quite hard on, is the ability to measure the impact so you can adapt your content wisely. Right now, we support SCORM export, which allows you to see how your videos are performing in your learning management system and if learners are making it to the end and taking away the content that they need. We also have an insights dashboard that allows you to see the number of unique views on your content, so you can prove that the people you expected to see your video are actually out there watching it. But in the near future, we're going to be launching a whole bunch of new analytics tools that are going to allow you to track engagement and see how people are interacting with your content and if it's performing the way that you want to, which will allow you to make more informed iteration decisions and also allow you to share information with your stakeholders about how your content is performing. So let's go ahead and recap all this impact and efficiency we've talked about. First and foremost, we have set a new standard for videos in 2025. And this is all based on the fact that we are going to have more efficient video creation by transforming our text-based content to video. We're simplifying screen recordings, and we're making sure that we get consistently branded content with a single click. And on top of this, we are making sure that our content is more impactful by using real people as presenters, personalizing your content to the individual, and measuring and adapting your content accordingly. This is a complete game changer for how we make video. None of this was possible just a few years ago, and it really is something that I'm so excited to see you all put into practice. But this isn't everything. What's next for L&D? A couple years ago, this thing that I'm about to announce seemed unimaginable. It seemed like something that people weren't going to ever be able to do, but now our teams are working to change video forever. And this is probably the biggest thing that I've been most excited about since it was announced a few months ago, and I'm really excited to share it with you. In 2025, we'll be launching truly interactive videos, which is going to make your viewer the driver of their experience. And so what we'll be doing is we'll be allowing you to link to external URLs so you can share content outside of the space that they're currently viewing and give them a deeper understanding of what you're talking about. We'll also be launching internal redirection so you can make branching videos which will drop your viewers into immersive scenarios and deep dives into complicated topics. We'll also be making sure that we're adding in quizzing and other robust interactive features to make a truly immersive, deeply engaging, and easy to access experience for all of your videos. And so let's go ahead and see what this might look like.
Hey, John. Welcome to the team. We've prepared a training video just for you. Choose your path: interactive scenarios or self-paced modules. Great choice, John. You can switch to self-paced modules anytime. Now, let's dive into a real-world challenge to learn more about our values. You notice a potential issue that could delay your project. It's not certain. What's your approach? Great choice, John. That's a smart way to handle the situation. Being proactive and addressing risks early demonstrates leadership and foresight.
We are so excited about this feature, and we want you to be part of this process and making this dream come true. And so I have a QR code for you that you can use to sign up to be the first to try interactive video. Scan this code and we're going to save your space in our interactivity beta testing group. So get your phones out and take a scan right now, and we'll be following up with you in the coming weeks as we launch this so you can go ahead and start playing with this so we can make sure that what we develop and launch out into the world is truly and really reflective of the things that you and your learners need. So we'll be starting to test this tool soon. Make sure you've made your scan so you can go ahead and jump in with us. So before we wrap up, I do have one final question to ask you, which is, are you going to be coming to DevLearn? I'm going to be in Las Vegas for the DevLearn conference from November 6th to 8th, and I'll be speaking about a lot of the topics we discussed today, but we'll also be at our booth number 426, where you can join us and see us demo a lot of the things that you saw today, first up close and personal and firsthand. And so with that, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you for hanging out with us today. It's been extremely fun to have you here to talk about this, and I cannot wait to see what you make in the future with all of these features and interactivity.